Hey there, Nerd Army. It is time, guys, once again for another podcast. So I am joined by my buddy Brian from MOVIEVERSE. Say what's up, Brian.
What is going on, guys? This is actually, technically it's our second, but the first one, we had some technical difficulties, so that one wasn't able to be published. But yeah, so I'm glad to be here and having this podcast with you. I know last time we had some great conversations, some great points that we were bringing up. I can't wait to get back into it this time.
All right. Well, guys, welcome to the podcast. This is Nerd Logic Podcast, episode number 8. And what we're going to do, just like always, we're going to go through the different options of what we're going to talk about. And for each topic, if you guys want to go and watch a specific topic, make sure you go down and you go to the timestamps in the description. They'll all be listed for each individual topic. So just to run through what we're going to talk about tonight, this is going to be topic number 1 is going to be Hugh Jackman and him suggesting that we use Tom Hardy as Wolverine to replace him. We'll get into that one. There's going to be a lot of opinions on that one.
Yeah.
And then the next topic is actually going to be Men in Black are doing a new trilogy.
Here come the Men in Black, Men in Black. All right.
And they're not and they're doing a new trilogy, but without Will Smith. So we're gonna get into that one.
And for the record, that might be the only time I will ever sing online. Just saying.
And then the third topic is going to be Hayden Christensen is coming back to the Star Wars universe, and he's going to be playing Vader.
This is a rumor.
I know, but
don't freak out, people. Don't freak out.
Big one, guys. We're going to talk about it.
I know. Yeah, it's a big one. I know.
And then the last one is we're going to talk about Heroes. I've seen the new series. Brian hasn't seen the premiere yet, but we're going to talk about what was great about the old show and what we're hoping out of the new one.
Yeah, so. and I think me not seeing it also allows for people who haven't seen it yet, who are watching the podcast, I'm kind of like their voice asking you questions about it. And I did watch a good amount of the original series. I can't remember exactly when I stopped because that was a while ago and I'm getting old. But yeah, I definitely liked the original one. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about that as well.
All right. Well, let's get right into the first topic then. Now, before we start, guys, if you guys don't know, check out Brian's channel, MOVIEVERSE. I'll leave a link for everything in the description down below. Does some awesome videos. Brian, before we start, do you want to give us a little rundown of what you guys do on your channel?
Yeah, so we do a movie news show every Sunday. Well, we do it on Sundays. It's not every Sunday because we've been missing the past couple weeks, but for the most part, it's every Sunday, and it's probably usually about 40 minutes to an hour long, and it's basically a conversational video podcast type thing. And yeah, we run through all the news of that week with me and my buddies Jason and Greg, and then we also do trailer reactions. We do movie reviews. Doing this podcast with you, I'll have that up on my channel as well. I do some plan on doing some vlog stuff. Greg's gonna be doing some more like Throwback Thursday movie reviews, which will be cool. But yeah, so we have our YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/movieverseonline, Twitter at movieverse2, and Instagram at movieverseonline. But yeah, so we got a whole plethora of stuff. Last weekend, I went to Comic Expo in my city. So I have a bunch of posts in my Instagram feed for that. I met Robin Lord Taylor and Katrina Law.
Awesome.
It was an awesome time. So I have pictures of those two and me up on my Instagram and some other stuff, cosplayers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all a fun time. So make sure you guys are following me on all my social medias and on my YouTube page so you don't miss out on any other stuff. We do live streams sometimes too to celebrate certain subscriber goals. Last time we played Super Fights, and then before we played Cards Against Humanity. It was a lot of fun. So yeah,
Fight 1 was funny.
Yeah, and also I want to point out the fact, like last time when we were recording on this podcast and it didn't work, we had a really good section about where we talked about the promo art for Civil War that got leaked or released, I guess. I don't know. Was it ever official? I'm not really sure. But there is a video on my channel where we break that down. So I'll leave that link in the description of my video that I put of this up on YouTube, so you guys can check that out as well. But yeah, let's go ahead. And yeah, thanks for letting me plug all my stuff. That's a mouthful.
No problem. So the first topic, like I said, Hugh Jackman said in an interview that he would like Tom Hardy. He would suggest Tom Hardy take over as Wolverine.
I don't know what your take on this is, but I really like it, and here's why. Tom Hardy is, for one, he obviously appearances isn't everything, but as far as physical attributes, he fits the mold of Wolverine better. He's shorter, he's more stout. As we see from Mad Max, he can be a very angry person. So I feel like that really fits for the Wolverine mold. And there was some fan art that was released today in response to that, and it was from, I think it was like Boss Logic, who does a lot of fan art that looks really legit, and it had Tom Hardy, and it looked so good. I'm like, yes, I can definitely see that. I mean, it's yeah, I think Tom Hardy is obviously a great actor. Most people would know him as Bane if they could recognize him underneath the mask and the bald head
Oh,
and everything. Yeah. So you think darkness is your ally? But yeah, so I really like Tom Hardy as an actor. I've liked him in everything that I've seen him in. So for him as Wolverine, I would love it. I'm just wondering because I feel like I heard something that he is circling a role in the DC realm. So if that happens, I don't see it happening, but I do like the idea. And Hugh Jackman gave him his blessing, basically saying like, I would like this guy to do this. So maybe that'll bring it to Tom Hardy's attention, possibly. And so, but we'll see.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. Tom Hardy physically fits the bill. That's just how it is. He
Mhm.
physically does fit the bill. He is a short, stocky dude, but he's still big, bulky. He's a very
Yeah,
athletic guy. He could pull off Wolverine, and we did see with Mad Max, he could definitely pull that berserker rage off.
yeah, and I could definitely see Tom Hardy saying, "Listen here, bub." Like,
Listen here, bub.
yeah, I just see him. I hear him saying that. It's amazing.
Uh, that I mean, yeah, totally. I totally think it would work. I think it would be a great concept. Um, Tom Hardy, if he did do it, I know he's always been circling roles in DC over and over. When
Yeah,
he passed up Rick Flag, and then he was hoping for something bigger. I'm guessing what he was really hoping for out of that.
yeah. Uh, I was trying to think. I was trying to think if there was like any. Since we're on the topic of casting Wolverine, I'm trying to think of any other actors that I could see playing the role. And to be honest, I really can't.
Yeah, it's
And that's
hard. It's hard
that's the
because
problem because Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine for so long, since 2000, I believe.
yep, 15
So that's
years.
15 years. So it's like yeah, I can't imagine another actor playing the role. But when he said Tom Hardy, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense and that works for sure,
Because he can give you that gritty kind of feel that we need from
definitely.
Wolverine.
And you
Um,
saw in Mad Max, Tom Hardy, he can play like that. Like in that role, he didn't really speak that much. He didn't have a lot of lines. But when he did, he was like it was like a really low growl, like hoarse, like kind of sound. So yeah,
but it was commanding. He was able
yeah,
to get. It's like, oh damn,
yeah.
I better pay attention to this guy.
Hmm.
But no, that's actually yeah. I mean, I believe he would kill it. He would be a great Wolverine. I really think he would. And like you said, Hugh Jackman's been Wolverine for so damn long. No one could picture anyone else but Wolverine but Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah,
I mean, you ask anyone that's never read a comic in their life, who's Wolverine? Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
yeah.
They know. They don't know
That's
anything
because
else about
yeah,
Wolverine.
I mean the general movie audience doesn't even know. Like when you say X Men, they're like, oh yeah, the movies. They
The
don't.
Wolverine movies.
Yeah, they don't think of Wolverine or the X Men as a comic book. They think of it as the movies. So
And that's the thing when you talk about how the X-Men movies were targeted, they were all targeted with Wolverine as the main character.
oh yeah, for sure. And that's kind of one of the downfalls of that original X Men trilogy was the fact that they put Cyclops as like this kind of like pansy guy who like was always complaining and whining and all that stuff. So
I'm actually working on a history of Cyclops right now. He's a badass.
yeah,
He always has been. That's one thing I hated. I love the casting of Cyclops in the X-Men movies,
yeah,
but yeah, never how they portrayed the character. And I wish they would have given him a much deeper role.
yeah. You know, I actually haven't. I mean, I know we've talked about this before. I haven't really read that many comic books, but the ones that I have read haven't really been X-Men. I have a couple. I have. I've been kind of delaying the fact of reading Apocalypse just because I've been so busy with school and work. And I also have House of M that I need to read. Because I've been trying to pick up the more like classic and big events that people are like, you have to read this one. That's what I'm going for right now. But I just saw today that there's this comic book shop that's opening up near my house, and they put on Facebook that they're like looking for applicants. So I'm thinking about sliding my application in there. And if my boss from work is watching this, sorry.
Sorry, but I'm moving on.
Yeah. Hey, if I get a chance to work at a comic book shop and I can make all right money.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's always one thing that I always dreamed to do one day is open my own shop. Open my own comic book shop would always
Yeah.
be a dream.
It's funny because when I'm driving around my town, I see, for instance, there was this old building. Well, it's not really old, but it's a building that used to house Blockbuster. And since
Yeah.
Blockbuster went out of business, nothing has taken that building, and it's in perfect. It's like in perfect location. It like really nice business oriented like neighborhood around it, and I'm just like, man, that would be the perfect building for a comic book shop because it's not too big, and all around it's like basically windows. I mean, it was a Blockbuster, like it was pretty good. Uh, it's pretty good for like renting movies and games and stuff like that. So it'd be perfect for a comic book shop. And I'm just like, man,
There,
if
there,
if
there's an
I
empty blockbuster right down the street from my house, and I thought the same thing.
yeah, exactly.
I was like, look how much wall space I got, man. I can put all the expensive ones on the top.
Yeah,
I can have the toys and collectibles over here.
awesome. Like I said, I went to that comic expo over the weekend, last weekend, and I had this problem where there's so much stuff that I want, but then like I had to budget myself. So it's like, no, I don't need to spend money on that. No, I don't need to spend money on that. So it's terrible. It's terrible because it's like it's a form of like I don't know. It's like I like causing myself pain by like oh, I can't afford it, but I so want it type thing. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, man. I got the Comic Con for my here in my town coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm the same way. I'm like, man, am I gonna have money that time? Am I gonna have money then?
Yeah.
I hope so. But no, I'll definitely be posting stuff about the Comic Con I go to. I'm cosplaying as Chris Redfield from Resident Evil Afterlife. So I've got the costume done. I got like one more piece to get. That's it.
There you go.
It'll be a good one. But all right, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent there.
That's all right. It happens.
Yeah, it's fun.
The next topic is going to be Men in Black is going to start a new trilogy without Will Smith.
I'm holding
I'll
myself
let you
back.
take it
I'm
on
holding myself back from singing that song again. It's so I love that song. It's
Here comes the Men in Black. Men in Black.
Galaxy Defenders. Yeah.
Galaxy Defender.
Yeah. What comes to mind when I hear this news is the fact that Sony, for a while, at least for the past year, it's come out that they were kind of toying with the idea of crossing over Men in Black and 21 Jump Street.
Oh my God.
And I think the reason why they're doing Men in Black without Will Smith was because when he heard that, he was just like, no, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? So they're like, all right, fine, Will Smith is out of the picture. We'll do this like, you know what I mean? Because if they start up a new series with Will Smith, they won't be able to cross it over with 21 Jump Street. But if they do the new series without Will Smith, they could still not do the crossover. But that leaves the option open for them to do the crossover. Now, as far as that's concerned, I don't want it at all. But
No.
but as far as the new Men in Black series, I can kind of get behind. But I mean, obviously it depends because it could be terrible.
I
It
mean,
could
yeah,
be
it
really
could
terrible.
be. I mean,
But I have, you have to be an optimist when you hear about these kind of things. So I think, I think that it could be done really well, and I think uh, it's a comedy, action, sci-fi. I mean, so like it's a fun movie. So as long as they don't mess it up and pixelize it, it'll be fine.
Well, I was reading a couple different articles about this today because I was curious. I was like, I got to see what else is being said about this.
Yeah.
One of the articles that says that Tommy Lee Jones did not say he's out. He wouldn't mind doing it.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, okay, we're losing Will Smith, but Tommy Lee Jones was a major part of those movies too. He was a big role, and I really
Oh,
enjoyed
yeah.
the movies.
I love Tommy Lee Jones when he has comedic roles. Like in Men in Black, he was always making these like really funny quips. And it was the same thing when he was that general in Captain America: The
Captain
First
America.
Avenger. Like he was like, "Well, isn't it the man with the plan? What is your plan today?" type thing. And it's I don't know. It's like when it comes from Tommy Lee Jones, it's hilarious.
I
'Cause
love Tommy Lee Jones. Like I'm not a fan of the movie, really. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But I liked him in Batman Forever.
oh, it's Two Face.
Yeah, I liked him as Two Face. I thought he was a little over the top, but
I'll be
he was.
honest with you. I shut the fact out. I've shut it out that he was actually in that movie. Like that wasn't even in my brain until you just brought it up, and now it makes me sad because I just said that I love everything that Tommy Lee Jones is in, and then you just reminded me of a movie that he's in that I don't love him in. Not because I don't love him, it's because I don't. The movie is terrible.
It's a terrible movie.
Have you seen U.S. Marshals
Yes, I have.
with Robert? It has Robert Downey Jr. in it. I've heard
Mhm.
some people who don't like that movie. I'm like, are you nuts? It has Robert Downey Jr. in it.
That is a good movie. It's a
And Tom,
very
oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah, so good.
U.S. Marshal's a good movie.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, totally like if they can get someone with enough charisma, if they do keep Tommy Lee Jones,
yeah.
they can get someone with enough charisma to counteract Tommy Lee Jones or be up there with him. Because I mean, yeah, he might be an older guy and he might not do a ton of comedy roles, but when he's in that role, his ass has charisma pouring out every orifice.
If they want, if they wanted to go the same route that they did with Will Smith, uh, which I don't think they necessarily have to, but if they wanted to, actually they could do a female. That'd be interesting, like a female playing off Tommy Lee Jones. But if
That
they
would,
wanted to go with the route where it's like a Will Smith type character and Tommy Lee Jones, Michael B. Jordan. And I like you don't have to stick to the same race, but I'm just saying if they wanted to do that, Michael B. Jordan would be a good fit for that role.
yeah,
Obviously, in Fantastic Four, they didn't really let him shine with kind of his, his humorous side, which they should have because he was Johnny Storm. Uh, but yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan would be a good fit for that role. Um for whatever reason, the kid from Kingsman,
oh yeah, I would
Taron
like,
Egerton, I th-
yeah, Edge.
I don't know. He comes to mind because I just want to see him in everything. I like that guy so much. Like I loved him in Kingsman, and I could just see him because he wore a suit in Kingsman, so I could just see him wearing a a, a less British suit in Men in Black, and
A
or may,
less British suit.
or maybe he could play a British Men in Black agent. That'd be
Oh
interesting.
God. See now, if you could choose any one actor to be a MIB agent that hasn't been yet, who would you choose? Like anybody out there. I'm talking anybody.
Anybody. What?
Who would you think would be like the most entertaining to
Oh my
watch?
gosh. I have a ton coming off the mind. A lot of them are Marvel actors, but James Spader, Robert Downey Jr. Uh, uh, I mean, Chris Evans is already in Ghostbusters, which is kind of like Men in Black but with ghosts. Um,
And he's the secretary.
Ryan Reynolds would be interesting, even though he already did like R.I.P.D., which is like the same like Ghostbusters but with or not Ghostbusters, Men in Black with ghosts.
Yeah.
Uh, and I heard that movie was terrible. I haven't seen it. Oh gosh, who else?
I actually I
I have
to
a
be honest,
ton. I have a ton of actors I would like pop off, and I'm like, I'd be fine if they were in this movie.
man, I just went like I was thinking like what's the most random character I could see as an MIB agent? And first one that comes to mind would be Jonah Hill. I don't know. I think
No, he, no, they're already gonna cross him over. He's in 21 Jump Street. They're going no, he no. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot stand Jonah Hill. I can't. I liked him in, but yeah, it, he's really hit and miss with me.
he is. I mean, he's hit and miss with a lot of people.
Yeah,
So it's not just you.
I loved him in Superbad, but then after that, it just kind of got old for me.
I liked him in Superbad. There's certain movies I didn't like him in, like for real. Like He was good in 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. He was okay. He played that
I
character.
like Channing Tatum better in those movies than Jonah Hill,
Oh,
for sure.
totally.
Yeah.
What about oh damn, that is a hard one because there's so many good
Oh yeah.
actors.
I'm just
What
like
about putting a comedian in that role?
a comedian, like a straight up comedian.
Like Dane Cook.
Oh my God, Bill Burr. Do you know him?
Bill.
He
That would
would
be
be
awesome.
hilarious. That movie would need to be rated R, but it'd be
Oh,
hilarious.
oh my god, that'd be fucking great.
I think I here okay, here. Pitching the idea. Sony, here you go. This is for free. Don't bring back Tommy Lee Jones. I love him, but don't bring him back. Have Bill Burr and Louis C.K.
Oh man. Oh god. That'd be a good one.
Telling you.
Sony, write that down. You need it.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. It would be rated R, but it'd be hilarious.
That is funny. That is funny, dude. No, that is a good one. It would be hilarious as hell. It would have to be rated R as like no doubt. No
Yeah.
PG-13 maybe no. Rated R now. Sorry.
I think the only character that they need to bring back from the original series is the talking dog.
Yeah, bring back Frank.
Yeah.
I can see Frank. Frank could come back. Frank the Pug.
Yeah. And he could be like riding around with Louis C.K., like driving, you know, like it works. It works.
It totally would, dude. That would be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and go into our next topic.
Alrighty.
This one's a sore one for a lot of us, including me. Um, the rumor about Hayden Christensen being in Episode 8 as Vader has
All
not
right.
been confirmed yet. No one freaked out.
Before we get into this topic, let's just explain how this kind of came about. So basically, this is a rumor from I forget the people who dropped this rumor, but what they said was they heard from somebody that basically is going to be training Hayden Christensen in some type of physical role, and what they said is apparently they said it was for Star Wars Episode 8. And there was another rumor that I heard that he was going to show up in Rogue One as Darth Vader. But the question about that is like he's going to be wearing his whole Vader outfit
Yeah, it
for
doesn't
like
have to
Rogue
be.
One, and his voice would be distorted. So it's like they could have anybody in there. It doesn't have to be Hayden Christensen. So I think that is completely false. The only thing I can say about Episode 8, if he was actually going to if you're actually going to physically see him, it'd be as a Force ghost, and you don't really need training for that. Like you're
Yeah.
just going to be standing there talking. So yeah, I don't see this being true. But if let's just go on the assumption that it is. Okay, I think we can all agree that the worst Star Wars movie was Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Episode 2 was a little bit better than that, and I think Episode 3 was a little bit better than that. Now, obviously, those movies could have been better. That's not obvious, but I don't blame Hayden Christensen. I don't blame him. It's kind of like if you were to blame Ryan Reynolds for the Green Lantern.
And yeah, I totally don't, and I love that Deadpool's ragging on him.
Yeah. So I, you know, people are probably going to hate me, and I'm probably going to lose a lot of nerd cred for this, but I'm not against seeing him for the fact that he could uh, redeem himself for his past sins.
All right, I'm gonna chime in on this
Now,
one.
if they were to bring Jar Jar Binks back, I'd be like, hell no, get it out of here. I don't want to see it.
I'm gonna walk out if they bring Jar Jar Binks back.
They're not. I mean, even after Episode 1, like Episode 1, he was front and center. He was like the C-3PO of Episode 1,
Yeah,
okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. C-3PO got on my nerves in the original trilogy. He just did.
he was just everywhere.
He was everywhere. He always had some kind of line that wasn't even really funny to me. So, obviously Jar Jar was worse than C-3PO. I'm not saying that C-3PO is on the same level as Jar Jar. I'm just saying he was like that character for me in the prequels. But after episode 1, and everybody was ragging on Jar Jar, saying that how much they hated him. And episode 2, he had like 2 lines, and then in episode 3, he didn't say anything. So it's like at least they took that. There's like, okay, we need to get rid of this. Like,
Let's slowly hack this character up and make it disappear.
yeah, get rid of him.
Okay, so me, Hayden Christensen. Okay, right there with you. Episode 1 is definitely the worst of
And he
all.
wasn't even in that movie, so
No, he wasn't, and it's just because they went too many different ways with it. And okay, it did have 2 characters I wish stayed in the universe and kept going. Qui-Gon Jinn. I loved Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. He was
yep.
awesome. And there was nothing wrong with young Obi-Wan. He was still a badass, and I still liked him. I mean,
Darth Maul,
yeah. But Darth Maul.
who might be showing up.
Yeah, Ray Parks. They never confirmed he was dead, and in the cartoons, he's alive.
Yeah, cartoons, he was alive, which are canon.
Yep.
And there's a rumored Obi-Wan standalone film, and people are saying that they could explore the fact of explore the story of Obi-Wan tracking down Darth Maul to get rid of him.
Yeah,
So,
he was. I was hearing the rumors that Obi-Wan was going to hear faint rumors that Darth Maul's still alive after he takes Vader down, and he's going to go and find him and everything before Episode 4, and he searches for him for all those years, and he finally finds him. That's what the Obi-Wan movie was.
yeah, and
One of the rumors I heard.
I think Ewan McGregor is on says that he'd be happy to come back.
Oh yeah, he's definitely on board. He's known for that character, not for how shitty the other movies are, or what they could have done better. He did an amazing job in every one of those movies.
Yeah, he is definitely the standout character in those movies for sure.
But
yeah, what are your thoughts on Hayden Christensen
Yeah.
possibly coming back for episode 8?
Me and Hayden Christensen, we don't go. Me and Mannequin
Don't jive.
Skywalker are not okay. That guy has no physical expression in his face. He's like this. Padme, what's going on? And then when he's angry, Obi-Wan, don't do this. I'm like, oh my god, make a fucking
Okay,
smile.
can we just agree on the fact that I feel like for any actor, especially Hayden Christensen, because before that, like, what did he do before that? I don't think he was in much.
Jumper?
Jumper was after.
Oh, what? No, it was after episode 2.
Was it? Okay. There's a green screen. Like, the whole prequel trilogy is nothing but green screen. So, like, it has to be hard.
Where they lost a lot.
It has to be hard to, come up with some type of emotion when it's just all green screen. Nothing's actually there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I know I'm kind of making excuses for him, which I'm not meaning to do. I mean, obviously, like we said, Ian McGregor did fine, but he was definitely he was on a very different caliber than Hayden Christensen. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a fan of Hayden Christensen. I mean, I have seen other movies,
Yeah.
like Awake. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
He gets put under. He plays this rich, like, billionaire, young entrepreneur guy, but he has a heart condition.
Yeah.
And they put him under, but he can feel everything.
Oh.
They're going to operate on his heart, and he can feel everything. And the whole movie is him, like, under, and just screaming in agony, and all his girlfriend at the time and his doctor are planning to kill him and then take his money, and and he's hearing all this shit. I mean, in that, he didn't do a whole lot of physical acting, but his voice.
So his face was like this
the whole time. But that was for a reason.
He didn't have to use his face again. Yeah.
Yeah. But like his voice acting, there was just so much emotion in his voice.
Yeah.
Like in episode 3, I was really let down because that whole final fight versus Obi-Wan, when he's like screaming at him in anger. I mean, he didn't even, like, to me, I didn't feel anger. I mean, I understand that's what he was going for, but to me, a great actor can express their feelings without using their words. And to me, he just doesn't. And that's just my opinion. I mean, a lot of people out there hate on Hayden Christensen. He's an okay actor. He's done some great roles, and I have seen some good roles from him. They're not all bad. It's just when you fuck with Star Wars, you fuck with my livelihood, man. That's what I grew up on. That's
I think that hits the nail on the head. Is when you're in a Star Wars movie, you're under a lot more scrutiny than any other movie ever. So
Definitely.
The only thing I can compare it to is comic book movies, but even they're not on the same level as Star Wars is.
Yeah. Star Wars, there's so much animosity towards you if you do one thing wrong that's not the way it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and they don't like, the fans will chew your ass up and spit you out.
Can we talk about one more Star Wars thing before we move on?
Yeah.
Um, there's a rumor that came out that they might possibly be releasing the original theatrical cuts for the original Star Wars movies on Blu-ray. Finally.
I must have them all.
Here's here's my theory. This could be false. This could not be true. But I forget who said it, but it was somebody who was in. They were doing an interview for another movie, and they said, "Yeah, I was talking to Lucas the other day, and he's planning on doing this type of thing." Now, if they actually do release the original theatrical cuts, here's how I think they do it. So, uh, was it? I think it was AMC Theaters tweeted out. I think 2 weeks ago that they were going to, leading up to The Force Awakens, they were going to have a Star Wars marathon, kind of like how they do for the Avengers movies.
Yep.
So they're going to do a Star Wars marathon, right? And I believe that to be true because they had to take it down. So I'm assuming Lucasfilm's like, hey, you can't say that. So they took it down. So I think here's what they're going to do. That Star Wars marathon will have the original theatrical cuts of the original trilogy leading up to Force Awakens. And then they're going to release it on Blu-ray. And so that's how I think they're going to handle the situation. And if that is the case, I wasn't going to go to the well, I was on the fence whether or not I was going to go to the marathon of the Star Wars movies. But if they release the original theatrical cuts of the original trilogy, and you get to see it in theater leading up to the new Star Wars movie,
I'm gonna
sign me up.
spend all day in the theater.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Because
Yeah.
I've never seen them. You know,
Original Star Wars?
I've never seen the original theatrical cuts. I have the original trilogy, but it's the special editions because
Yeah.
that's all they sell.
Or yeah, that's where Hayden Christensen's implemented in there, and yeah. No, I
That threw
actually,
me through a loop.
yeah. And there's other things in there that they did change from the original theatrical cuts.
Yeah,
Uh, I actually have the original VHS box set before they did the special edition.
really.
I still have the VHS that has all the originals. I still have a VCR. I keep it in the closet right next to the Star Wars VHSs because it's the only VHS I still own.
Hmm.
But I grew up on those, like the originals.
Wait,
I
that
I
makes me
went
wonder.
watched.
I might have seen those, but it's been so long that I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a few scenes. There's that final scene where
Yeah,
you see the ghost and Hayden's never there.
I think I have seen it because when I bought this sixth movie set of Star Wars and they
Uh-huh.
had Hayden Christensen in there, I was like, what? So I have seen the okay. So I have at least seen the original episode 6. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, if they do it, I think it'd be a good thing. But to be honest, I think that when they do it, they wouldn't. They might show them, but I don't think they're going to release the Blu-rays until they complete the series. The
well,
all episode 9. I think they would release it in their like over the top crazy special edition Death Star box.
I don't know. I think they'll release it sooner than that. But I do think that I'm gonna bet I would bet money that they're gonna show the original theatrical releases leading up to The Force Awakens. And if that's so, all the companies in the United States at least are going to shut down because everybody's going to be calling off work to go do that. So,
Yep. Yeah, you're definitely gonna. Everyone's closing for the day.
oh yeah,
Too bad they're not bringing it out on May the 4th, because then we could be a national holiday from now on.
hey, you never know. That might be when they release the Blu-rays of that.
That would be awesome. Oh
Yep.
my god, that would be so awesome. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one, guys. So now we're gonna talk about my favorite thing tonight, and that is Heroes. So, like I said at the beginning, Brian has not seen the new Heroes Reborn because they released a 2-hour season premiere of episode 1 and 2. Um, I watched it. I was like all giddy like a schoolgirl jumping out of my seat and stuff the whole time, all excited. But Brian has seen the old Heroes seasons. You've seen all 4 seasons?
Uh, I'm not sure if I've seen all 4 seasons, but I remember I used to watch it like every week when it was on.
Well, the
But
whole
like
fourth is about the carnival. Do you remember that?
no, so I probably yeah. But I mean, and it's been a while since that was even on TV. So
Been quite some time.
yeah, but I do understand the fact that they do have some of the characters from that original series back in this series, right? And
Yep.
they have Zachary Levi, who I am a huge fan of. He played what was it, Fandral in the new Thor?
Pedro, yeah, and Chuck.
Yeah, I love Chuck. Love Chuck.
Yeah, I actually, my parents are good friends with Zachary Levi's mom out in California. He's from California, where I'm from, and
That's awesome.
they met her through I think bowling or something.
Bowling League.
Yeah, bowling league. She was telling my stepdad, "Oh yeah, my son's an actor." And who the hell's your son? It's all
That's
Zachary. He's Levi. He's on that show Chuck. And they're like, "What?"
that's
And then
awesome.
then I got heard he got cast in Thor: The Dark World. I'm all, holy shit! Someone needs to give me an autograph.
That's
But
awesome.
no, yeah, okay. Now I'll, I'm not going to give him any major spoilers, guys. So don't freak out. You don't got to turn this podcast off because I don't want to ruin it. I want Brian to check it out. It's really, really worth it. But the characters that we are bringing back from the original series to Heroes Reborn are Micah, who was Nikki, the girl with multiple personalities. That's her
Yeah.
son.
Yep.
He's a technopath.
Yep.
He can talk to machines. And so Micah's coming back. Hiro Nakamura's coming back. Um,
Isn't that kind of like that's a little on the nose, isn't it? His name's Hero,
yeah.
and it's like, I get it.
Hiro technically,
Yeah, but still.
yeah, Hiro Nakamura is coming back. So our time traveling favorite Asian buddy. We're also getting Mohinder Suresh, the doctor who started the son's doctor,
Yep.
doctor's son who started it all. Matt Parkman, the psychic freaking cop,
Yeah.
and I believe that's it. So in the new series, the way it all happens is at the end of the final season of Heroes for season 4. The way it ended, there was like they were all at this big carnival, and the very last scene of the damn season of this damn show period, I was so pissed the way they ended it. Claire is like, you know what? Fuck this. We need to. People need to know we exist because the guys that were running the carnival were trying to get people in there to kill them basically and show them their powers. And so Claire climbs to the top of the Ferris wheel, dives off with news cameras and news reporters all right there watching, and then stands up and says, "Hi, I'm Claire Bennett," and that's attempt number like 1,000, and just puts her shoulder back into place and heals right in front of him. So at that point, this one leads into the world knowing that these people with powers exist.
Yeah.
So in the new show, they classify them. They call them Evos. They're basically another race, is what they're considering them.
Yeah.
So they're Evos. They're hunted. They're followed. They're tracked down. They try to regulate the Evos. Certain countries, you get shot if you have powers.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're making a really big thing about it. And the fact is Zachary Levi's character is probably one of my favorite in the show so far.
He's an amazing actor. I love him.
He is, and the woman that they put across from, I forgot her name, but she was in the final Twilight movie. She was one of the vampires that had the power. Yeah, yeah. I forgot her name, but she's an awesome actress too. And she's playing his wife in the show.
The only person I know from Twilight besides, what's her
The
name?
two,
Kristen Stewart and Robert Patterson is Alice Eve, or no, not Alice Eve. Alice Green. Is that her
yeah,
name? Yeah. It's not her, is it?
no,
Okay.
no. She was only in the last movie. She's not a major character in those movies, but that's just the only thing I know her from. Um, but she's a great actress too. Um, when during this podcast, I will put that picture in below so you guys will know who I'm talking about. But she definitely a really cool character, and their story is very different than everyone else's. They don't have powers, anything like that. But there was a major tragedy, like I said, no, I'm not going to get any spoilers. There was a major tragedy that made them want to kill these people with powers.
Yeah, I've read a review of it, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a spoiler-free review. We'll put it that way.
No, but it's definitely a very cool show. The aspect of them still staying true to the original show
Yeah,
and the feel of it. Now, if you guys never saw Heroes back in the day when it aired, Heroes was a cultural phenomenon. It changed how TV shows are made. There was webisodes. There was so many like interactive things going on with Heroes.
yeah.
And they're doing the same thing with Heroes Reborn. They have their Dark Matters, their webisodes that are on YouTube. Um, but they're doing the same kind of feel, which is what I love about it. I was super excited for that.
Yeah, and the story that you just pitched to me there about how they have them classified as Evos, and so in some countries they like them, in some countries they don't like them. It's kind of interesting because it reminds me of kind of the relationship between the mutants and humans in like the X-Men movies for sure.
Yeah,
About how there's they're always trying to like either cure them or kill them or whatever, and then you have separate factions within the mutant kind where you have like Magneto who's like we have to take the fight to them before they try to kill us type thing, or then you have Professor X who's like no, we need to show them a better path, which I think is something that they could definitely explore
yeah,
in Heroes with this.
and I think they probably will do something like that. We haven't got to the point in Heroes Reborn yet where we've established who that standalone character is, but there is one character. His name's Carlos. Basically, his little quick backstory: he is a veteran. He won like a Medal of Honor. He's a veteran in the military, and he was a hero. He saved a bunch of men from getting killed, and he got awarded like the Medal of Honor for it, or the Medal of Valor.
Yeah,
And he comes back home to where he grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and to find out there's like he's basically doing public speaking, but at the same time he's like hooking up with one of the sexy teachers before he's going to talk to the kids. Yeah, definitely something was going on bad. And then the janitor walks in like, "What?" He's like, hold on, let me pull my pants up.
yeah.
Like, all right, man.
Give me 1 second. All right.
Yeah, hold on. Hey, can you shut that for 1 second? Let me finish real quick. But no, but I mean, he seems like that kind of character because in the show, his brother turns out to have powers.
Yeah.
His brother turns out to be an Evo, and he also turns out to be this masked vigilante.
Hmm.
So in the show, he's going to be left with this Carlos. So when later on his brother gets killed,
Yeah.
he he's going to be basically he's given the choice: do you want to stay being a hero? He doesn't have powers, but he can put on this mask and he can defend people and he can help out and he can do the right thing. And so that's where he's kind of at a crossroads. I see him as being that character who's normal, but he wants to try to get everyone to understand the Evos and
Yeah.
try to work with them because he's got family that are Evos.
Yep.
I can see him as that kind of character.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen that first episode, so it's gonna be really hard. Plus, the thing is, with me and watching Heroes, I don't know. It's like I was a huge fan of the original series, but like now we have, you know, Flash, Agents of Shield, Arrow, uh, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Like we have all these shows that are coming out on Gotham. I'm I'm one of the few people that I know who actually enjoyed the first season of Gotham, but we have yeah, so we have all these alternatives now. The game isn't as easy as it was when Heroes first came out because it was the like only show that revolved around heroes,
Yeah.
superheroes on TV at the time.
Or anything like that.
Now that's not the case, and it's
Yeah.
like I, I'm stretching myself thin watching all these Marvel and DC TV shows as it is. So it's like I don't know how I'm gonna find the time to watch Heroes, and it's like I watch outside of the comic book TV shows. I watch The Blacklist, which is
Yeah.
another great show. It's gonna be hard for me. It might be one of those shows I have to wait until the season's over, and then when when I have a break in between semesters, power through it or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. But you're right. I mean, back when Heroes started, there was nothing else like it.
yeah,
It really did help change the way TV shows are made in that aspect.
it might have helped TV networks understand that hey, you can actually do a superhero TV show and it'd be good.
Yeah, you just
So,
got to do it right, and
yep.
that's what we've got now. Now we've got so many of these amazing shows that when Heroes Reborn was coming back, so many people were pissed that like Peter Petrelli and Nathan Petrelli and Claire weren't coming back. I mean,
I loved Peter Petrelli.
so do I. I mean, I
I love
think
the actor too, and he was on the first season of Gotham, and I was just like,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah, Milo
yeah,
when he was on a freaking I can't even pronounce his name, Bantigliegli or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he yeah, when he was on Gotham, I was like dope.
yep.
I was like,
I
and
was
he was
so happy to see
a
him on.
crazy motherfucker too. I
Yeah,
was,
I know he was. He was like, I'm not ready for you to go yet. Like he's just complete stalker type guy. But it
but I mean,
was
talking about Gotham and the other TV shows, Gotham for me when it started, it started off good for the first few episodes,
yeah.
and then for me it kind of dropped off and it got a little slow.
Can we
Um,
talk? Can we talk about the Gotham premiere too tonight?
yeah,
All right.
right now.
Yeah. You know, obviously there was like Gotham season one was not perfect. All right. But I watched Agents of Shield season one, which I feel was worse.
Definitely
So
not even close to perfect.
yeah, and I you know I'm not ashamed to admit it. I really enjoyed Agents of Shield season one because it was the first TV show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I was all over it. I was watching the first like 3/4 of the season, just waiting for something big to tie in, and then we got Winter Soldier, and it was just everything switched. Now Gotham's a little bit different because it's I feel like Gotham is an Elseworld story of Batman, Bruce Wayne when he was younger.
Yeah, because it's a
Because
nowadays picture like story.
especially with the premiere. Did you watch the premiere?
Yep.
Okay, so it kind of seems like I don't like Jim Gordon. Uh, hold on, guys. I'm gonna there's some stuff that happens in there like with Jim Gordon who I'm just like okay, I don't think that's what his character would really do, but they're making him kind of seem like he is going to be a vigilante type character.
I agree with you. I did get that kind of feel. Um, and to the point, I really think they're gonna make him. They're trying to make him rough around the edges, so when Batman ever did happen in his future, he knows how what's got to be done. He
Yeah.
understands. It makes him more open to Batman's ideals.
And I feel like as young as Bruce Wayne is in this TV show, it's like Alfred, you need to give that kid a backhand. Like he can't be talking about like killing people, doing stuff that's necessary. Like sometimes you have to do the dirty things. Like you're like 12, all right? You have no idea what life is like. Yeah, you lost your parents, but no, like I don't get that connection. But I enjoy the show. I see what they're trying to do, and I think the showrunners have mentioned Court of Owls being a topic that they're going to touch on this season.
Yep,
I'm so excited. That's one of the Batman stories that I have read. Uh, I
it's
loved it. Loved it.
easily the best Batman story in the last 10 years.
Yeah. So obviously they can't do Batman in it, but they can start touching on maybe possibly the beginnings of the Court of Owls, like maybe the Court of Owls. What? Okay, in the comics, was it the Court of Owls that murdered his parents?
They were responsible
Yeah.
for creating
Yeah.
everything that.
So obviously, if you're dealing with a younger Bruce Wayne, it'd be really interesting to see the Court of Owls at that point. You know, maybe some flashbacks where maybe because in that storyline they talked about how Bruce Wayne, as a young kid, was trying to find proof of the Court of Owls because they murdered his parents.
Yeah,
So it'd be interesting to see that um, going on Gotham. I think that'd be a great storyline for this season that could possibly do, maybe end at the mid-season premiere or begin at the mid-season premiere type thing. But yeah, and it also show Bruce Wayne starting to become a detective type thing. So
yeah.
I don't know how or what they're going to do with Jim Gordon. That has yet to be seen. I love Marina Baccarin. She's pregnant now, so we'll see what happens with her in the show.
I
But
love.
she
But
was she was supposed to be at the Comic Expo this past weekend, but she wasn't. Something came up. I don't know what it was. I think it was something to do with shooting some scenes or something for whatever. But
damn it,
yeah, what are they doing with Claire or not Claire? Barbara.
Barbara. Okay, so what it seems to me, they went freaking crazy with Barbara.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world is going on with this chick?
They went some back rat
I read an article where they're just like they're turning her into
Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn. I'm like, what the?
They've got her hanging out with Jerome all the
Yeah,
time.
Drum's like, Drum is at least like 10 or 15 years younger than her.
Yeah.
It's That's another thing I had a problem with. What were we just talking about? Oh, this is going back to Star Wars, but that was one of the problems that I had with the Phantom Menace was that Anakin was so young, like so much younger than Padme. I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, why would
This
there be a love interest between the two of them?
this is dirty.
Yeah, this is like statutory.
Yeah.
Is
Like
what I was
halfway
saying.
through that movie, you're like, oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of weird that I don't know what they're doing with Barbara. I like that actress. Uh,
Yeah.
Obviously, she's easy to look at. And I can see her as Harley Quinn, but they've already sold me that she's Barbara. So it's like,
I don't think they're really gonna make her that Harley Quinn. I think she's gonna just be that extra stand-in crazy bitch. They're gonna give her a side plot of trying to just
but
fuck over Jim all the time.
okay, so is her romantic relationship with Jim over now?
Yes.
Like, but I'm saying like, there's like, if she's going this batshit crazy, there is no return.
Nope. I'm pretty sure it's just done.
Okay.
One thing that I loved from the premiere. Well, the two things: Bullock being happy and being sober.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. I was
Yeah,
like, dope.
I love that character. I think he, obviously he is kind of like the comedic relief. He's the one that gives all the quips and the snappy stuff. Uh, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what he does now that well, I guess he's not on the force anymore either. So him and Jim can work together again since Jim's not on the force anymore. Or no, he
Yeah,
is back on the. Well, he is, and I don't know.
he's back on the force. I'm pretty sure something's gonna happen because Bullock says he has a girl. Something's gonna happen. She's gonna get killed, and he's gonna join back up with Jim. I think they're gonna get back to that buddy cop feel again.
Oh yeah,
They were starting to get to that point.
that's the thing. I think I think the relationship between Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock would make a great buddy cop movie, or even a buddy cop TV show. But the tone of the TV show doesn't allow that to work.
All right, now what'd you think about Nigma? The
Oh,
fucking
about his like
riddling out, he
his
going
multiple
crazy.
personality.
Yeah,
I loved it when he was looking in the mirror and his like because he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, I don't know. But then like when he was looking in the mirror, his character was like, what's going on, man? Like a really like confident kind of like jerk, and I'm just like, that is what I want to see.
oh man, when I saw that happening, I'm like, holy shit, he's going nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
feel
was
like
like, I was
ev-
like,
I feel like everybody in this show has some type of mental illness. Like
yeah,
they're all going nuts, and it's just like, okay, so this whole town is just full of
crazy
people.
ass
Like
people.
everybody needs to be locked up in Arkham Asylum.
Now, what do you think about Mob Boss Penguin?
I met him over the weekend. Robin
Yeah,
Lord Taylor met him, took a picture with him. Super nice guy, right? We were waiting in line to walk up to him and shake his hand and talk to him and get him to sign stuff or whatever. And every single person that he met, he was really like, "Hey, like, what's your name? How you doing?" type thing. Like, and you could tell. I was like, man, like at the end of the day, he has to be so tired because that has to be so draining to be so friendly and open with everybody who comes up there to him. So I actually really liked Penguin in the first season, and then meeting him, I was like, I had a more appreciation because all the mannerisms that he has as Penguin, he doesn't have in real life. So everything that he's doing as Penguin, is him acting, which just shows his acting ability.
Yeah.
Like all of his mannerisms, like the way that he like nods his head and like his smile goes flat and everything, all of that. And so when you notice little things like that with the actor, it's like, man, that guy is like tuned into this character, and I like it. I mean, I don't, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but he does a really good job with the character. The only other penguin that I know of is Danny DeVito's penguin. So
Yeah.
and
Which was excellent.
yeah, it was a great penguin, but I have to say that I enjoy this penguin more. I feel more threatened from this penguin than I do Danny DeVito's penguin.
Yeah, this one, I mean, Danny DeVito's penguin was standoffish, but not in the way that this
He
penguin
was
is.
just
This
really
penguin,
weird. He was really
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
Thank
he
you,
was
Tim Burton.
very awkward, but this penguin, man, that guy will cut your throat as quick as he'll say hello to you.
He's got a plan,
Yep,
and obviously he knows how to he knows whose side to be on at certain times.
yep. He knows
So,
how to play the field.
oh yeah, he is he. I mean, if he was playing chess, he'd be great. So
Definitely. I mean, it was just a really, really cool thing. I mean, I love him as an actor. Loved him in The Walking Dead, and I loved him in here. I loved him in everything I've seen him in. He's a really great actor, but him as the Penguin just has that dark, ominous tone
yeah.
to him, and he just blows me away every episode. How good he can pull that character off.
Now I don't know if you talked about this on your last podcast, but I just wanted to bring it up to talk about here since we're on the topic of TV shows. This technically isn't network television, but did you see the Jessica Jones teaser?
Yep.
One, I love that song. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the first time I've ever heard that song, but I love it. It's kind of like the song that they released for the Daredevil trailers. I
Yeah.
love that song. I added it to my music library. Like that song, the color schemes that they had going on there. Obviously, there's a lot of purple because Purple Man, Zebediah Killgrave, and they had him like his voice in the trailer being like Jessica, and I'm just like, man, like I just have to think like if we're going even remotely close to what the comics did, and like he releases pheromones to basically gain mind control over people, right? Or at
Yep.
least have hit like he doesn't have mind control over them, but they do what he wants them to do.
He can push you.
Yes. So it's like I can just see him like staring down Jessica and like saying her name in that way and just being completely creepy, and I love it.
Man, that's the thing. And the guy they got to play him, David Tennant,
Amazing.
is an amazing actor. Holy crap. One of
He
my
was in the
favorite actors of all time.
Goblet of Fire as Barty Crouch Jr.
Yep. Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but yeah.
He was the doctor for like 3 seasons. He was an awesome, awesome doctor.
Yeah, when he got added to the show, I knew that he had been on Doctor Who, and I'm just like, well, obviously he has not only a fan base, but he has talent if he was on that show for as long as he was. So I was
Yep.
like, all right, great, that's a great addition to the cast. And then you have Rachel Taylor as Hellcat. I don't know much about that character, but I liked her in the Transformers movie that she was in. So
Mhm.
to see her get more work, I'm okay with that. Um, but yeah, that teaser, you saw alias investigations on that door that somebody got thrown through. There's a
Yep.
camera in there. It was all hinting at things, and I'm 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 just so excited for that series to come out. And I think it comes out in was it is it October or
November.
November?
November.
November? God, it's so far away.
No. Hey, okay, well, have you read the Alias comics?
I have not, but I do know what goes down.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done
Yeah,
my research.
I just did just the other day, I did the history of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So everyone watching this, go check it out. It explains all of that.
First
And
off, there's some trigger warnings that need to be placed.
oh,
But
there definitely is. And I tell everyone at the beginning, there's some messed up shit in this
yes.
comic.
It,
So
it, it
if you
gets
got,
it gets very dark. And the reason why I said something about it getting even close to the comic books was that they said that the Jessica Jones series on Netflix was going to be darker than the Daredevil series on Netflix.
and
Which,
and it is, and that's the
yeah,
thing. the way, okay, if the comics themselves, when they released them, it was in the early 2000s when Marvel was losing money. They were falling behind all
Marvel
kinds.
Max. Marvel
Yes,
Max.
they brought out the Marvel Max, which is their R-rated comics.
Yep.
Um, so everything was gruesome as hell, really dark. Sex was everywhere.
Yep.
But like Jessica Jones, there's her and Luke Cage have sex a bunch of times in the show. Uh, the the fucked up part about the Purple Man in the comics, the way his powers work, like you said, he can, like we were talking, he can push you. Um, so he can make your deepest, darkest urges whatever he wants. So
Yep.
in the comics, one of the main ones that just comes to mind when I think about this, one of like the most fucked up scenes is Jessica Jones is already under his control, and Purple Man goes and grabs two sexy college students, puts them under his control, brings them back to the room, makes them have sex with each other, have sex with him, and makes Jessica sit there and think in her mind that I want to fuck that guy so bad.
But he doesn't let her. Yeah.
And says, no, you're never, like, he
It's
never let.
and in the comics you see this as kind of like a flashback. Like she's talking to Luke Cage and he's like, you can open up to me. So it's going to be really what I'm looking forward to is the relationship between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones in the TV show. But yeah, if they do flashbacks like that with Jessica Jones in this TV show,
Ooh.
it's going to be I don't know how they can do it. I mean, that is such uh, sensitive topics and material, but at the same time, I feel like Marvel right now with this Netflix series has the opportunity to touch on topics that no TV show has the balls to
And,
touch.
and no movies will ever touch either
And
because
you,
Disney owns Marvel. So,
and actually, I've actually gotten really passionate about this. Is you want to talk about a role model for females, right?
uh-huh.
You think about Wonder Woman, right? That's the first one that comes off your mind when you talk about superheroes as role model
Definitely
for women.
first one that
But you
happens.
want to talk about a woman who has gone through something as life changing and destructive as that. And if Jessica Jones in this series can go through that and come out on top and and even if this show somehow helps anybody who has gone through something like that, um, rape or whatever. If this show can help anybody who has gone through that, I say that Marvel has done their job, and I think that that is a great thing if they can do that.
I totally agree with you. That's 100% because it is such a directly sensitive subject for Marvel. I hope they go as deep as the comics do. I mean, obviously not everything, but go as deep as the comics do. Because you're right. I mean, Wonder Woman's the first one you think of. Supergirl, I mean, maybe. But the first thing you come out of, if you're thinking about a female role model, Jessica Jones has been to the worst place you can ever possibly be.
Yeah.
She comes back later on in life. Her and Luke have a child. They have a family together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing. She turns around her life from the worst possible place she could ever be to the top of the world where she's just happy and this is what she
Yeah.
wants. She has
And
everything she loves.
yeah, and like I said, I hope that this series, if it does touch on those topics, it does it in a way that helps people heal.
Yeah.
I think they have the opportunity to have such a powerful message with this TV show, and and nobody knows who Jessica Jones is, and the
Yeah.
catchline in that teaser was, everyone will know her name,
Yep.
and I feel like if they can do that, and I mean, I don't know, I just hope that if they do touch on the topics that they have in the comics, they do it in a way as such to let people heal or you know what I mean? Like I have no idea what any of that would be like and if there is any way that this show could help somebody in that situation, I mean I think that's amazing. So
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to touch on that topic because I think
That's fine. It's a good one. It's something I'm really passionate about. I love Jessica Jones as a
yeah,
character. I always loved Jewel. But the fact is that I hope because when Daredevil was coming out, everybody knows who Daredevil is. Whether they saw the shitty Ben Affleck movie or what else?
Did you see that Matt Damon was almost Daredevil before Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
And he said that he would play Daredevil if it was for Christopher Nolan. What if Marvel got, because we had that whole, did you guys talk about the breakdown of the Marvel Creative Committee and all that?
Nope.
Dude, this podcast is about to be 2 hours long. All right, so past couple of weeks, there's been a big shift in the leadership of Marvel Studios. So now, so the way that it looked before, okay, so we're going to go before and then after this shift, all right? So before the shift, Kevin Feige is the president of Marvel Studios. He reported directly to Ike Perlmutter, who is the CEO of Marvel Entertainment, okay?
Yeah.
And so he had to go through him for budgets, final say-sos on movies and stuff like that. And with Kevin Feige working on the movies was this Marvel Creative Committee, which had people like Joe Quesada and Brian Michael Bendis and some other people from Marvel, basically giving notes on movies, and they could use those notes, they could deny those notes or whatever. But they've worked on stuff like Captain America: The Winter Soldier. They had the idea to put Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man, so they've done some good stuff. But there's also arguments to say that there's some stuff that they've done that haven't been so good. But all right, so that was the before. Now the after is Kevin Feige now reports directly to Alan Horn of Disney. He
Yep.
no longer reports to Perlmutter. And the Marvel Creative Committee, for lack of a better term, has been disbanded. So
Yep.
I think what happened here is, well, for one, we know that Ike Perlmutter is notoriously hard to work with. He's very stingent on money, which is one of the reasons why Civil War almost didn't happen, and Kevin Feige was going to walk. But and the reason why it wasn't going to happen was because Perlmutter didn't want to pay Robert Downey Jr. Which that guy's made you over $1 billion, so pay him. But so there's that, and he's also been stingent on all kinds of different things, and I'm not going to get into that. But there's been friction between Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter is what I'm getting at. And Kevin Feige was going to walk. So Alan Horn was like, no, you report to me now. So basically, the way that it worked is you have, I forget the guy's name, but the dude who's in charge of Pixar, he reports directly to Ike Perlmutter. Kathleen Kennedy of Lucasfilm reports directly to Ike Perlmutter. But then there was Kevin Feige who had to report to Ike Perlmutter. But now he's reporting to Alan Horn. So now all three of those people are reporting to Alan Horn. So Kevin Feige has joined those two people. So now he's on the level of Kathleen Kennedy. So what this opens up is the fact that maybe they might be able to get some bigger name directors because they will have more money that Kevin Feige is allowed to use.
They're gonna have Mickey Mouse money.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it might also allow them to get some bigger name actors, which the Marvel formula for the actors and directors have worked for the most part. There have been some movies that haven't worked out too well. And also with the Creative Committee, the Marvel Creative Committee, there's reports that say that they were the reason why Edgar Wright left Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Now, for better or for worse, what that would have been, that is the report. So maybe that allows for more creative freedom for the directors. So, we might be able to get some, so that leaves, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because that leaves the opportunity for, maybe, who knows, Christopher Nolan could come over to Marvel and direct the Daredevil movie and then Matt Damon could star in it. And, but yeah.
Now it's all connected, so it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to bring up and get your opinion on it, because when I first heard that the Marvel Creative Committee was being disbanded, I was like, oh, I'm nervous. I was nervous at first.
To Brian Michael Bendis,
Yeah.
some of the biggest names ever to work on Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And
So
some of the greatest writers ever.
it got me nervous, but they're saying that they still have them like it's not like they're not around. You know what I mean? So
not everything has to run through them now.
Yeah, and I feel like the Marvel Creative Committee has probably helped Kevin Feige set out a plan. You know what I mean? For so who knows if we'll even notice, like when we'll notice if we even do that. You know what I mean? So I trust Kevin Feige. I mean, he has done such a good job with Marvel Studios. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to let him walk and go over to Fox or wherever? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad that he stuck around. I'm glad that they'll have more freedom with not only budget, but which allows for different directors. Maybe if they had a higher budget, maybe the special effects in Age of Ultron would have looked a little bit better. Um, most of it did look fine, but there were some parts where you're just like, all right, that could look better. But yeah, I just want to get your opinion on that.
I think it, like you said, it's going to open up a lot of doors. Really having access to the Disney money. If you guys don't know, Disney is like the richest company on the
Oh
planet.
my gosh.
They own fucking everything. They got that
They
finger
got
in every.
Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm makes the Star Wars movies, people. Do you
Yes,
understand? Star Wars and Marvel movies and Pixar.
they've got two, 3 billions and billions and billions of dollar revenue companies. They just produce those fucking companies shit money. That's basically what's going on.
Th-
And Disney's just like, it's all for us.
It's like, okay, so here in 2017, right, they're going to start having 3 Marvel movies a year, right?
Yeah.
Plus, they're already going to be putting out one Star Wars movie per year at least. And I feel like
And
eventually,
and two Pixars every year too.
yeah, and I feel like eventually they're going to move it up to 2 Star Wars movies every year. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah. So because there's so much story to tell with Star Wars, you can do a whole bunch of different types of movies, and they don't even have to connect really if you don't want them to, but they probably will. I'm just saying, I when does it become? Well, it's not a monopoly because there's plenty of other studios, but like
Yeah.
when you own that much of the market share,
You know what it's called? Good business.
good business. It's called a very long SEC meeting about whether or not they need to split Disney up. But that's getting into the business side of things. But yeah, so I was nervous at first. I'm a little bit less trepidatious now because some of the behind the scenes stuff about not wanting to pay Robert Downey Jr. Pay him. Like he makes you billions. You can pay him a couple hundred million. It's fine.
You'll be all right because she'll keep making you billions.
Yeah, yeah. But if they were starting to get in the way of Marvel Studios, then change up the formula.
Yeah. Keep it as good as it has been. Don't go any less.
Yeah,
Go less is just letting the fans down. We don't need that.
yeah. Uh, is there anything else that you're wanting to talk about tonight? Because we're already at an hour and 12 minutes, so this is a pretty long one.
Well, yeah, we're
A
gonna end it there.
marathon.
But yeah, guys. So this has been an awesome podcast with Brian from Movieverse. I will have because Brian's gonna post this on his channel and I'm gonna post it on mine. So we will have the descriptions for both of our channel, or we will have all the information for both our channels down in the description below. So check us both out. Make sure to give Brian your subs, like, share, subscribe these videos with all your friends. But it has been an awesome Nerd Logic podcast. Me and Brian can talk for hours
Oh,
about.
I know. Like I have so many other things I could talk about right now, but I'm not going to because the podcast would be 3 hours, and yeah,
Then we'll have everyone watch it for like a total of 4 minutes.
yeah, exactly. People are
But
like
they're like,
four.
hold on, 2 hours and 60 or 53 minutes left. What the fuck?
Yeah, are you watching all this? Yeah.
But I mean, it was definitely like this is definitely a very, very in-depth podcast. We got a lot of really
Oh
cool
yeah.
that we talked about, guys. But let us know if there's anything else you want to see in a future podcast.
Yeah.
I'll do as many of these as I can with Brian because this is a lot of fun. He's someone I can talk to about all kinds of movies, not just superhero stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny if anybody who watches my movie news show on Sundays, the reason why it's an hour long is because we have these topics and we don't just say, "Oh yeah, guys, this happened." Moving on to the next topic. We're like, "All right, this happened. What are our thoughts?" And we kind of try to break it down from our viewpoint. And the reason why we do that is because, I'm not. I mean, I see myself as just a movie fan, and I love talking about movies. I do it all the time at work. I do it at school. I mean, I'm surprised people haven't like disowned me because all I do is talk about movies. My poor girlfriend, she has to listen to it all the time, and she's just like, all right, that's cool, because she's more of a reader than she is a movie watcher. But yeah, so yeah, thank you again for having me on this podcast. I like like you said, we just love talking about all this stuff. We could talk about it for hours and hours. But yeah, so thank you again for having me on here. If you guys want to subscribe to my channel, I'm forever grateful. Also, my social medias that I listed before: Facebook.com/MovieVerseOnline, Twitter at MovieVerse2, Instagram at MovieVerseOnline. I'm always posting on there, and I can be more immediate with you guys if you guys want to interact with me. Than just posting my videos. I can actually on Twitter I can immediately respond to you guys and stuff like that. And I enjoy having conversations with my subscribers. That's what this is all about for me. Is a hobby where we get to communicate our impressions and opinions on movies and comics and all that stuff across the web. That's the beauty of the internet now. Back in my day, we didn't even have internet when I was younger, so.
But it's definitely been great having you on here, Brian.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, yeah, make sure, like I said, go subscribe to Brian's channel. I'll have all the information down in the description below. And if you're watching this on Brian's channel, subscribe to Nerds.
Yes, guys, subscribe to Nerds Mirage. This guy is awesome. I mean, before we even had our podcast last time, the one that didn't work, how long were we talking? We were talking for an hour before the podcast even started. We were talking about a bunch of comic books.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, and then the podcast was an hour and a half, and then we was it didn't work, and we're just no. It was such a good podcast. But yeah, guys, subscribe to Nerd Mirage too. He is definitely my go-to guy for my comics knowledge now. Because like I said, I am reading comics, but he has so much comics knowledge. So, and he mentioned earlier in the video that he has his history of videos. So he has his history of Jessica Jones and a whole bunch of other characters that he's done. So if you guys see a character that's going to be on an upcoming Flash season or Arrow or whatever, and you don't know who this character is, go to his channel. He'll have you covered with all the history of that character, so you're caught up and you understand. Gosh, that makes me want to talk about Red Tornado and how terrible he looks, but we can't. We don't have the time. I'm sorry. I just had to get that in there. He looks terrible.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to Nerd Logic Podcast, episode number 8. Brian will be back for some more later on, definitely. So, thank you again for coming on, Brian. And, guys, we will see you next time. Peace out.
Hey, guys, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, make sure you go click that big, sexy subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time right here on Nerds Merized.